the ability to remember, perhaps this is more important than the ability to figure out how everything is started. According to science, there is a very famous experiment called the two-slit experiment, where they shot electrons through two slits, and in the background screen they realized that the electrons behave as waves, but when they were observed they behaved as particles, but just when they were observed. It's very weird why a particle is just behaving as a wave when it is not observed, but it's behaving as a particle when it is observed. So I came up with one theory, a hypothesis that might solve this equation. This equation is about entanglement. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon is not yet understood. Why? Because perhaps what we're confusing is that mass is a particle and a wave is energy. What if mass does not exist? What if everything is entanglement? So let me explain you something here real quick. According to Einstein, he came up with the theory of time and space elasticity. He determined that space is stretching when there is some electromagnetic waving or electromagnetic force that right now we consider as gravity. So he just said that, okay, this is the space and time, but the space and time can be stretched, and the particles will just accumulate in those stretched points. So that's gravity. You know, those particles will. But what if those particles are actually not particles? What if everything is a wave and we have entanglement? What is entanglement? It's like a hole that will connect to other parts in the spectrum, and that's a wormhole. So the wormhole will throw particles from one side to another, creating a direct connection regardless of time and space. So that's the theory of the quantum entanglement, which is in theory just a wormhole. There's no mass. There's just an attraction from one side of the space to another side of the space. So in other words, quantum entanglement can be the solution to this equation. Everything is a wave. Particles do not exist. When there is a particle, it's because there's an entanglement, a wormhole. So the whole universe is made of wormholes, and we think this is something physical. This is not physical. This is just a very complex intertwining of dimensions, intertwining of space and time that creates the illusion of something physical. It's not nothing physical. The ether is where the light travels through. Einstein said also, my equations won't work without ether, and many scientists were removing the idea of the ether, where ether is just that time and space that is stretched and it has elasticity. That elasticity could also be wrapped into holes. Those holes create the illusion of gravity or illusion of mass. There's no mass, only entanglement. That's a huge topic, but I have an idea of how we can do an experimentation to prove whether my theory is correct. Let's say that we have a big charge of electrons, maybe taken from an array or a huge amount of energy, and we separate that energy, and eventually the amount of wormholes from one side to another because of entanglement would eventually allow teletransportation of matter. And actually it's not matter, it's just waves behaving as a solid thing, which is not a solid thing, it's just a wormhole of wormholes creating this reality. I'll keep you updated about my progress. Thank you.